I've been thinking about you so much. Do you carry one of these around everywhere you go? Well, at the end of this video, I've got an idea for you. But, I mean, aren't your hands just full of your key fob? All the things when you go out the door? All right, stick around. But first, let's talk about our mindset around the holidays, because the holidays really are almost in full swing, aren't they? Halloween is over. Some people are starting to decorate for Christmas. Some people are making sure they don't decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, and that's okay, whichever side you're on. Now, what I find is that people have so much stress related to the holidays. So I have 2 tips for you to help with your stress. It comes from your mind, because your thoughts determine your feelings determine your actions. And I know I personally have had stress around the holidays because I think we set up in our mind exactly how we want it to be. It needs to be this way, this way, this way, this way. We have our whole list of exactly how it needs to be, and exactly how everyone needs to act, and exactly who needs to go where when. But let me give you a little tip. The first thing I want you to do is to sit down with a notebook. You know, I believe in the power of these notebooks. This one is full of all my writings. And I want you to take your notebook. In another video before this, I talked to you about the power of sitting in silence. When you sit in silence, I'm not talking about emptying your mind. I'm talking about sitting in silence, not looking at your phone, not reading a book, but just sitting in silence. Not a room with distractions with the TV going or series playing or podcast, but sitting in silence so that you can observe the sky. If you can look out the window, look at the clouds, look at the leaves changing, think about the leaves falling. If you're not in a room where you can see outside, maybe you're outside on your porch in a chair. See what you can hear. Do you hear cars? Do you hear crickets? Do you hear birds? Or maybe you're just in a room in your house. Maybe the windows are covered with curtains. So think about what you can hear in your house. Do you hear the washing machine? Do you hear children playing? Can you hear sounds outside? Is your dog snoring? Sit in silence and observe. What do you feel? What do you hear? What do you smell? What are you seeing? What are you touching? Are you comfortable? Are you in pain? Do you feel good? Do you feel joy? Do you feel sadness? Are you anxious? Now that you've sat there in silence for 10 minutes, if you can. It's hard to sit in silence for 10 minutes because our culture has not taught us this. Our culture has taught us to rush ahead. But now that you've sat there for as long as you can, even 2 or 3 minutes, take your paper and your pen or your pencil or a crayon in the back side of a grocery receipt. And I want you to write down 10 things about how you feel, what your thoughts are related to the upcoming holidays. I am so nervous about how Aunt Mildred is going to treat my kids when she gets here for Thanksgiving dinner. My house is a mess. There's no way I can host 35 people. How am I going to have money for all of this? I don't have time to buy gifts. Write down your thoughts, at least 10, that are creating you to feel stressful and anxious related to the holidays. Then I want you to go through that list of 10 and make another list of 10 and see if you can reword those in a positive way. I don't know how Aunt Mildred's going to treat my kids when she gets here. Well, can you reword that to say, I never know what to expect from Aunt Mildred, but I'm sure it'll have a great outcome. State it in a positive way. I don't know how in the world I'm going to feed 35 people. I will feed 35 people. Others can bring dishes of food if they need to. My house is a mess. How in the world can I have this ready? I will figure out a way to have the house looking the way I need it to look. Now, you may not believe me, but I have done this over and over and over again. This is tried and true. My clients have also done this, and they've come back to me and told me that it works. There is something about taking your negative thoughts, seeing them written on paper, and rewriting them in a positive way that changes the way you think. Then it changes the way you feel. And when you feel differently, you act differently. So let's take my house is a mess. So that was number 3 on your list. My house is a mess. How in the world can I have 35 people in here? So number 3, we write that in a positive way. My home will be fixed exactly the way it needs to be to host 35 people. It's beautiful, and I'm proud of it. What will happen is that you will start to see ways that, oh, I could move this here. I could put this in another room. I can scoop this box of this clutter up and put it in a box and set it in the laundry room. And then when I have time to go through it, I will. You will start to see ways to change your current situation into what you want it to become. Has it happened yet? No, it hasn't happened yet, but it will happen. It will happen. I currently have things in my life that I wrote on a list 2 years ago that just this summer I started to see the positive affirmation of those things. I was working with a client this summer, and she was getting her house ready for a big event. A lot of people were coming, and she just needed ideas. So across the span of fancy. Now, maybe you don't have a good connotation with the word fancy, but in this context, fancy was exactly the perfect word. But she used it and it came back to her. The same thing will happen for you, because pay attention to this, please. Pay attention to this one thing. If you don't take anything else I say, I want you to know this as the truth. This is researched. This is documented. I'm not making this up. But your brain is designed to keep you safe. And so your brain will usually default to fear and anxiety because it wants to keep you safe. So if you're fearful, you're going to stay in these current circumstances and you're not going to take the chance of stepping out of your comfort zone. Even if it's fearful and difficult, you're not going to take the chance of stepping into another place. Your brain does not know if what you're telling it is true or false. It doesn't know. It just believes what you say. Because it's sort of like your brain is the computer processor. It only does in and out, in and out. It's your thoughts, it's your conscience, your consciousness that tells your brain what needs to be true. And here's what we do. We state things that are negative, and this is the thing that I want you to remember. Here's what I want you to remember. We state things negatively as truth. We state things positively as longings. Here's an example. I am so fat. I stated that negativity as truth. Now watch. I wish I could lose 100 pounds. Well, so we just stated I am so fat as truth. But we stated something positive. I stated something positive as a longing. So what does our brain believe? The truth or the longing? It believes the truth, even though it was negative. I am so fat. It doesn't know what to do with a longing. It doesn't know what to do with something futuristic. You're going to have to say, I've lost 100 pounds. Okay, so now let's go back to our list. My house is a mess. There's no way I can fit 35 people in here. My house is beautiful. It will accommodate 35 people very well. You see the difference? What is your brain going to believe? You need to replace the negative with a positive, stated, current, and now, even though it has not happened. Guess what? Even though you don't believe it. Still say it. Your actions and your feelings will fall in line, and you will see it come to be. And if you stay over here stating the negative, there's no way the positive can happen because you're still stuck over there in the negative. So why not try the positive approach and just test it out and see what happens? Okay? I just want to challenge you with this little exercise. Write down the 10 things. Maybe you don't have 10 things. Maybe you only have 2 things. Wouldn't that be wonderful if you only had 2 things causing you anxiety? Well, write them down. And then come down here and write down a positive way to say it. Now, here's what I want you to do. from now until the date that you're concerned about related to these holidays. If it's Thanksgiving, if it's December 5th, if it's December 22nd, if it's Christmas Day, whatever that day is, I want you to take 10 minutes to sit in silence. And while you sit there, you write down the positives. All these negatives that you wrote down, every day I want you to write them down in a positive way. You don't have to have the exact wording. I'm not saying like take your list and copy it. I will be still in class. I will be still in class. I will be still in class. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about thinking about the things that were on your mind and writing them down again now in your positive, your positive way. I have done this. I do this. This does work. This does work. Okay, now, I told you I was going to say something about this. So, do you carry one of these around? Like, does it go everywhere you go? Now, honest confession, I don't. Because I'm OCD about these straws and, like, thinking that there's no way to get them clean. So, I don't carry one of these around. But if you do, that's fine. No judgment. No judgment. But I was thinking about you. And if you're like me, when you go out the door, your hands are full. You've got your phone charger. You've got your key fob. You've got your glasses. You've got your purse over your shoulder. And you've got this in your hand or like this. And your laptop or your iPad stuffed in here. Well, guess what? I'm in the process of making you a tote for your water bottle. And if you want me to show you some ideas on how to make one, I will. But let me know in the comments, okay? If you think this would be helpful, because I'm thinking about it, and the one I'm making, I'm going to give for a Christmas gift. But if you think it'd be helpful, I'll show you how I'm doing it, okay? All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. I think about you all the time. And I just appreciate your comments and your kind words and all the ideas you're giving me. So we'll talk again in the next video.